It's been 7 hours and 50 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and then I'll sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I could do whatever I want, and I can see you wherever I choose. I could eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant. Still nothing, no nothing can take away these blues. 'Cause nothing compares to you. It's been so long without you here, like a bird without a song. But nothing could stop my lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where they're gone. I could put my arms around every girl I see, but they only remind me of you. So I went to the doctor, guess what he told me? He says, boy, you better go out and have yourself some fun no matter what you do. But he's a fool, 'cause nothing compares to you. All their flowers that you planted for me in your backyard, they all died when you went away. I know that living with you, baby, sometimes hard, but I'm willing to give this another try. For nothing compares to you. Nothing compares to you.
Man, welcome back. This is your boy Reckless Talk with the Reckless Talk podcast. Man, that was an amazing song. This is episode, I think 54, if I'm not mistaken. I've been losing count. Episode 54, kicking it with UK singer-songwriter Jonny Tristram. Man, what's going down, brother?
Hey, mate. Nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
Man,
Houston.
Amazing, man. Amazing. It's a blessing to have you on here. It's definitely an honor. I appreciate you taking time out your day to be here. Before we get started, you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, massive love to Robert Donovan, who's introduced us both, and he's from Three Visions Publishing, who we signed a deal with last week.
Congratulations,
part of the team. Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a long road, a lot of traveling, and meeting somebody else that has a vision, as he says, and hoping he says he's a lucky man. He's hoping some of his luck will rub off on some other people. So definitely nice to be part of the team and good to be on board.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, yeah, shout out to Emily as well. I forgot to say,
sir.
yeah, she's over in the UK right now doing the reverse.
Yeah, she's on tour right now. I also want to give a shout out to Robert Donovan and Three Vision Publishing. Amazing people over there. Robert's an amazing dude. Like you said, if it wasn't for him, this interview wouldn't be happening right now. Big shout out to Emily. Like you said, she's on tour in the UK right now. Everybody check that episode out I did with Emily. She's an amazing singer-songwriter, amazing voice. Oh my goodness. I think you and Emily would, if you guys collab and work together, wow, that would be something. Yeah, both
Yeah,
y'all,
we
both
spoke
y'all
about
are
it. Yeah,
amazing vocalists, and yeah, big shout out to y'all, man, for real.
a big shout out as well to my mate Tom Guinness
Big
over
shout
in
out
the UK. Mr.
already.
Briscoe, he's down in Cornwall, and him and the family there sending love to them. They're my business partners back home in Common Ground Music.
Awesome. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to my boy, Red Ink. You know what I mean? How did y'all Red Ink? This is how I Red Ink. Big shout outs. In saying that, let's get started, man. That was an amazing cover you did, number one. So tell everybody where you from in the UK and how was it like growing up out there?
Yeah, so I'm from a small town in Cheshire called Northwich. It's kind of, I was thinking about it the other day, when I was on a trip to Pennsylvania, and one of my favorite shows back home used to be Shameless. And there's a UK version of Shameless before it became the American Shameless. And what I kind of noticed this trip in particular was the parallels between the places and how similar they are, and even though it's decoratedly different, if you know what I mean by that. So like American house, but the same kind of situations, the same kind of people. So it was a small town, and I used to watch a lot of the movies where the kids lived in a small town and they searched and dreamed of going off and doing better things in bigger places. So I was kind of that kid. It was a cool place to grow up, some good friends, and played a lot of soccer, did a lot of acting, but I was always dreaming of getting to London and then getting to the next place that could sort of elevate what I was trying to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, I noticed when I was doing some research on your, I'm about to pull it up now. On your YouTube channel, you give a lot of shout outs to people in different countries. Are those all the countries you've been to?
Yeah. I worked on cruise ships with Royal Caribbean and P&O cruises before, so I traveled to a lot of places, but I've also just picked the guitar up, booked flights, and then gone to places when I've met people. So I traveled through Norway.
I'm about to read that whole list for everybody because this is amazing. That's why I asked, because when I look at this list, this is all the places he's been to where he performed. All right, y'all ready for this? Because it's a long list. The UK, the United States, Spain, Ireland, Portugal, Canada, Thailand, Malaysia, Hawaii, Hong Kong, Dubai, South Africa, Austria, and Holland. Man, you've been all over the world. You've been everywhere, man. How's it feel to be able to live your dream and see the world? And you know what I mean? How's that feeling?
It's kind of crazy. Obviously, like with any artist, you're always looking for the next step up and the next platform forward. So it's really difficult sometimes to live in the moment. And if you spend too much time focusing on where you're trying to get to, you don't appreciate the here and now. But lately, I've been able to do that a lot more, and especially since what we all went through 3 years ago, and the lack of freedom to travel. Now I'm liking the fact that it's back again, and this time I kind of appreciate it more than I did before, and don't take it for granted. So every time is like a new experience, new people to meet, new places to go, and new places to play. I mean, the guitar's been the passport.
Yeah,
it's taken me everywhere. It's just it's carried me.
So what other instrument do you play besides the guitar? If there's any other instrument,
I know a little bit around the piano. I wouldn't play one at a gig as such, but I know my way around because we used to do the vocal coaching. There were certain sort of scales and progressions that we used to work on for harmonies and different things back in the day.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Let's tell everybody how did you get into music and what was it like the first time performing?
Music initially, I was in England doing acting. I was in London, moved down there to try and get some auditions to get into sort of TV and theatre and stuff. And then there was an open audition for a boy band. And I went out of 30,000 people way back in the day. I got picked to be in this new boy band, and we were all thrown together into this machine of corporate production. About a year later, the management decided they only wanted 4 members, not 5, and they turfed me out, left me a phone at the end of a long desk in a long room with just one guy and said, "Hey, phone whoever you want, you're going home." And I was like, oh no, back home, I was going to be the kid that kind of made it, a bit like Harry Styles going back to his hometown now. Like, you know, I was thinking that would be the reception. And then after getting kicked out, or you go to the pub and it'd be, hey, that's that guy that was in the boy band. I don't need to be that guy. So I just started traveling from one place to the next and kept moving, just to not be that guy. But yeah, the performing at any time is the biggest rush. And I would say that there's not a time that I don't get nervous or feel anxious or worry whether I'm good enough to do it every time. But the buzz that you get when you're doing it and you see people's reactions and you see people singing along or feeling the emotions of particular songs, whether that be lifting them up or making them feel things at a deeper level. I love to be able to do that and share that.
Oh, awesome. Definitely. What artist would you say had the greatest impact on your type of music that you do?
Well, it's a mad mix really through the years of the ones that I've listened to. I kind of think we came up with the title lately of what my brand of music would be, and I think it's British blues is kind of the way that I see it, because I do like rock. I did like some pop and I did like some reggae, but really blues was kind of like my thing. So, you know, listening to people like Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder in the early days, growing up with a kind of artist that I loved, you know, the vocal, breaking things down to syllables, and then the real reflection of the push, the pull, and it was what impressed me. Years later, I was like into people like Music Soul Child, Citizen Cope out of Baton Rouge. He's a really good artist, and I dig all kinds of music. A good song, whoever it comes from, relates to me. I do like the guys like Dylan, obviously, and Donovan. My first two artists that I listened to when I first picked up the guitar would have been Damien Rice and David Gray.
Okay.
I don't know if you know those guys, but they're kind of a more acoustic and mellow stuff. But yeah, the blues is where and the blues and the combination of country blues as well, because you get people like Ray Charles working with Willie Nelson and that, and things like Seven Spanish Angels, those kind of tracks where it hits together are cool as well.
Yeah, we have Lavanya in the comments. She said, "Blues is the music of the people." Yes,
indeed. I mean, for me, music's about relatability and understanding and talking about things that we've all been through, and the blues certainly something that we all face on many occasions, and the ability to embrace that and come out the other side. I think blues, even as sad as some of the songs are, there's always hope within them, and I like to put that in music.
Yeah. Man, so you write your own songs and you do covers, amazing covers, amazing songs of your own.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who would you say is your favorite artist to cover?
Ray LaMontagne is one of my favorite ones, I'd say. I like the way that he does things. I do a couple of songs by Rob Thomas. I like the way that Chris Cornell used to take songs and rip them up as well and put them back together. I like to take songs from where they were, and sometimes I go back to it after I've not heard it for years, and in my head it sounds a different way. So when I sing it that way.
Yeah.
And then without realizing it, it's already changed from where it was. A bit like Chinese whispers, I guess.
Man, what's your creative process like when it comes to writing your music?
We were talking about this earlier today, actually. My friend was sort of saying he'd been there on a couple of occasions when it hit right and it came. It's a rare thing because you get artists that churn songs out and they're doing, and then they pick the ones that they like and they work on that from it. For me, it's like an absolute overload of emotion from a situation. It could be that it hits on the day that the situation happens enough that I've got enough that it's forced out there. And then other times it's things that sort of sits and it boils. And then it's a bit like pulling apart a t-shirt thread by thread. So I'll get like one piece. And then when I find that, I suddenly realize that this goes there and then it leads to this. And then the story's always truth. It's always something I've lived. Oh, that's my foot on the store. It's always something I've lived, or it's a friend of mine and something that I've seen the process, and And it's always in general about taking whatever the emotion might be and turning it into a more positive one as well.
I like that. I ask all artists that question. That's my favorite question to ask because everyone has a different creative process, and you have more of an emotional creative process, and then you put the technique in after. You know what I mean? I like
that. Yeah. And like I say, it could be just the hook of a chorus comes through. It could be the first line of the song, and then as I'm doing that, I'm realizing where it's going and what I'm talking about. But yeah, like some songs happen. Like when I was locked, I didn't tell you about that. But when I was working on the cruise ships, we've been out in Australia singing to the firefighters who fought all the bushfires for 6 months, and they were done free cruises for them because the ship should have been in use in Bangkok but wasn't because of COVID. And as it ended and all the last passengers got off, they ended up locking us in the room for 9 weeks. And no one would let us off the ship. And it was just like 9 weeks of madness. But I managed to write 2 tracks after I'd got over of trying to find a way out, realizing there's absolutely nothing I can do in this situation. I was like, I'm just going to be who I am and I'm going to write. And 2 songs came through in a space of about a week there as well, which was cool.
Yeah. We have a question in the comments. It said, do you get your words first or your beat first?
Generally, it's a lyric. Yeah, sometimes I'll hear the melody immediately when I say the lyric, and then I'll go to the guitar and find out where it is, and then I find out which chords sit with that, and depending on the mood that you want to push, whether it's the happy chords that sit with that, or it's the ones that are more melancholy or chill or even bluesy.
Awesome, man! Your talent is basically taking you all over the world. Where would you say is your favorite country to play at?
I know it sounds corny because we're here right now, but without a doubt, 100%, Houston, and particularly this section of Houston between sort of Kemah and League City and Galveston, is the only place on earth that I feel completely content.
Yeah. Have you played? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I found music here when I first came. I'd been downtown. I lived with about 11 musicians who were all off doing different projects. And then I found, Kemah came down here, started playing a few shows about, which was 20 years ago now, and there was open mics that would just allow people to be whoever they wanted, a stage and a platform and a spotlight to share creativity no matter what it was. And you'd have a guy in there who was covering the Beatles, a guy in there that was doing his own reggae, a guy doing Steely Dan kind of covers on a piano, and then I'd just drop up and whatever I'd written that week. I was playing some cover shows in an Italian jazz bar, and then when that finished at the end of the night, I'd head over to the open mic place and just let it pour out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely without sounding corny, because this is where we're at, but Houston is the place that I from everywhere that I've been in the world, and I tell people that when I'm traveling around too.
Have you played at the Kemah Boardwalk?
I was down there for the last few country sessions in the Tijuana one at the weekend. My friend of mine books the acts and stuff, so I got to see backstage, and I even roadied and helped 2 of the bands that were touring set up one day. That was hard work in this heat, like unloading the van and setting the stage and everything, and then taking it down. But yeah, it was cool. I haven't done a gig myself there yet, but I loved it. It was a real sort of busy place and cool people and good vibe.
Yeah, Kemah's cool to play. Actually, I forget what club it was. We went to see Emily play a few weeks ago, but it was somewhere over there in the Kemah area. But that was a good vibe too. We got Jamel Global Lewis in the comments. He said that cup looks crazy. I appreciate that. Perfect time for promotion. This is by Marie's Creation. She's based out of Houston. I have 3 cups from her. So y'all already know. Rest in peace, DJ Screw. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
That's dope, man. It's cool.
Man, through your journey, who has been your biggest supporter?
Well, the house that I'm in at the moment, actually, I'd reference it to, and how it sort of led from this. My friend Claude, who lives in this house down near Kemah.
Okay.
We met at the open mic at Bojangles way back in the day, and he came along and said, "Hey, dude, I love your music, but your guitar stinks. Let me buy you a new guitar." And for like 2 or 3 weeks, he kept coming and saying this, and I was like, not sure, like that doesn't happen in England, like ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens anywhere. And he was like, here's a photo of me and my family. He said, just to show that I'm safe and I'm not going to kidnap you. And he took me to a guitar center, bought me this real nice guitar. It was wall to wall with acoustics in there. And he was like, pick whichever one makes you sound good. And then from then on, he inspired me to be. And yeah, still even now, after all these years, we still connect. And I come back, he's been helping me get them latest recordings done, the one that you played before and the one that you mentioned you're going to play in a little bit, the 2 covers. We've just been doing that in the front room using some new equipment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Big shout out to Coco Canal. That's where Emily performed the other week. Coco Canal,
great venue. I met the guys there. They're real cool. It's a nice little vibe there.
Yeah, it is. They got a nice little setup with the little couches.
Yeah, that's in, like, for me, that helps me to know a venue straight away when they cater to the fact of saying, hey, this is what we do. We embrace the music. Here's the stage. Here's an area where they're going to perform. So many places back home, that was something that you don't see, don't embrace that as much. And you're stuck in a corner near a TV or a toilet, and the soccer game's on, and people are walking back. It's like to have a point that says, hey, we embrace live music. And also they really encourage originals there as well.
So it's not like that back at home. That's crazy.
No, the scene's kind of mad. It's changing slowly, and I guess there's always kind of been an off-the-cuff scene for bands doing original stuff, but not earning much. The main sort of money made for covers, people are getting paid 2 or 3 times more money than the solo guy with a guitar to dress up like Meatloaf and sing to backing tracks for 2 45-minute sets while lights are flashing and smoke machines are kicking off. You know what I mean? It's a bit like Vegas lounges.
That's funny. Man, it's saying that we're going to go ahead and play this other cover. This is Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. It's an amazing cover. It's just, man.
An American too. She's a good girl. She's crazy about Elvis. She loves horses and a boyfriend too. It's a long day living in the city. There's this freeway running through the yard. I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm the bad boy, breaking the heart. And I'm free falling, yeah, I'm free. Free falling, and I'm free. Free falling, yes, I'm free. Free falling for the bad part. Walking through the valley, go west down Ventura Boulevard. You know the bad boys standing in the shadows. All the good girls, they're on the broken hearts. And I'm free, free falling, yeah, I'm free. Free falling, and I'm free. Free falling, yes, I'm free. Free falling. I wanna glide down over Mulholland. I wanna write her name in the sky. And I wanna free fall out into nothing and leave this world for a while. And I'm free, free falling, and I'm free. Free falling, yeah, I'm free. Free falling, yes, I'm free. Free falling, free falling, free falling.
that was amazing, man. That was.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
That was. That was awesome. That's one thing. A lot of people don't realize. In the comments we said, it says, "Love how it's a cover, but you have your own spin on it. You have a great voice."
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. Cheers.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was kind of by mistake because I wasn't good enough on the guitar to do things the way they originally were. So I'd take shortcuts and I'd simplify it and I'd find a different route as well. So that, and I always like, play with the chords the way that they are and then just try and find a slightly different way to feel it. So I feel like I identify them with the song being partly mine.
Yeah. One thing I like is a lot of people don't realize, but like when you do covers, you better kill it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because because it's a song you love that somebody else loves. Like, you know what I mean? If you're not gonna better it, or if you're gonna do it verbatim, which people do, you're gonna fail because verbatim is the best it was. You know what I mean? The way it was originally done was at that moment the way that everybody knows it. And if you're gonna compete with that, good luck, because most of them are never live. Most of them have been in the studio. They messed with it enough times.
Yeah,
they've added a little bit. They've fine tuned it here and there. Like, so, even some of the artists that wrote the songs or recorded them originally can't do it live like that. Yeah. So for anybody else to attempt it, it's you might. For me, it's almost makes more sense to mess with it and to pull it apart and put it back together again.
If you could have your dream collab with any artist, who would it be with, dead or alive?
I think it would be like someone like Ray Charles, to be fair, or Marvin. I mean, obviously, like,
yeah,
I don't know how I'd mash it together because I mean their voice is just so wow. You know what I mean? They're so golden. But like when I first started and I used to sing in the jazz club, there were some real, really good jazz artists that we were singing with, original standard guys, from the blues scene. And even in Louisiana, we went and met a load of the guys down there at the Henry J. Turner listening room. And when you're with people like that, you elevate. It pushes you harder that you step into the moment and they kind of share that moment with you. And it's I've had my best moments within those when you've had great musicians just letting some riffs off, a sweet sax player, a sweet bass player, and some nice keys, and then you step yourself up. So I'd probably say someone like Ray Charles or Stevie. I couldn't ever get near to him vocally, but it's just, you're saying a dream, right? Obviously, a dream.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, in a perfect moment.
Man, you have an amazing voice. Like, how much time do you spend in the studio or just practicing a week?
I would a lot of hours. If you think about the fact that in general, when I'm keeping moving, I'm doing 1 or 2 shows a week. Each show could be 3 or 4 hours, which is a good 60 or 70 tracks that you're singing in that time. And then daily, just in the house, is what I do. I sit there and I revisit. I just got the ability now to capture the live shows, so I'll be like perfecting things even more because I go home and listen to them, and I'll be like, wait a minute, I could do this and I could do that. I like to continue to push, pull, and mold it until it's completely where it needs to be.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So what do you got coming next? I know you're gonna be heading to Pennsylvania soon.
Yeah.
What else do you have on your tour list?
I'm up Pennsylvania, then I'm back to Houston. We're doing one more show at the Swamp Shack in Kemah on the 18th, and then I'm back to the UK at the 22nd of August. A couple of festivals locally, and then a few gigs there in my hometown before I think Spain. Then after that for a little bit. Spain, I like to taste the sunshine. I mean, England, I like to go back for the nostalgic trips and catching up with my hometown people, but England's a very cold and wet place most of the year, so I go chasing the sunshine, and it's still going to be decent in Spain during late September. So I think there, and then maybe back to Houston before Christmas again.
Awesome. I definitely got to catch your show next time you're back in Houston. Where do you see yourself and your career in the next 5 years, or where would you want to be in the next 5 years?
I'm trying to sort of step into the future, but the now, and get into more of the content creating. So, say I've just got the ability now to capture live shows. I've got a new setup for a live PA once I get back to England, and I'm looking to buy an RV. So I want to take the show on the road, travel through some real cool places in England, and I've got the gear to set up and play anywhere without power. So I want to go to some sort of landmarks. We'll start in the middle of a field, maybe at the edge of a cliff in Dover, you know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And just film some gigs, create some content, and show the places that I've been and the people that I've met to everybody else.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah, that free spirited. I like that. What do you want your listeners to feel when they listen to your music?
The main message is that we all go through the same things. So knowing that, and knowing that within my songs, it's a safe space for people to come and face the truth of a situation. I think the simplest thing for people to do, and what's happened a lot in recent years, is that people continue to sweep things under a carpet, and think if I just push it aside or leave it over here for a while, I can deal with it later. But then you have 30 or 40 things to deal with at once, and it's like a massive mountain to face. I kind of think that with songs and with music, you can take the moment to reflect, take the lesson that's in it, and embrace the fact that there's common ground that we all share, and there's common tests that we all face. But like Donovan says in his song, at first there was a mountain, then there was no mountain, then there was. It's just how it is, Yeah. They come, they go. You walk up it. There's another one, but it's okay because we're in it together.
I hear that. Amen. We have our first comment off of Facebook from Terry. What's going down, Terry? He said, "This dude is amazing live."
Who is this? Is this someone from back home?
No, this is Terry. He's from out here in Houston. He knows Emily and Cricket Moon.
Nice. So I've met him.
Terry's an amazing dude.
Terry, right? Cheers.
He's an amazing dude. Yeah. Terry's one of my biggest supporters.
The night that it was Emily's birthday, possibly. Then I got it was probably Emily's birthday. She did a show at the Coco's, and I got up afterwards and did a few tracks. I did Billie Jean on the.
You was there that night?
Yeah, were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Like right at the end, before she moved on to Scout Bar, I got up and did like two tracks.
Okay, I left before then. I got there as soon as she started performing. And I probably left, probably like around 8:30 because I had to run. I had to go to Tiki
Bar. An hour later, I got there because she wanted me to come and sing the "Don't Blame Mary Jane" song because that's her sort of favorite, and the one that she shared with Robert first that got me introduced to him. And then I did
just missed you, man. That's crazy. Terry said
that close.
Yeah, Terry said it was. Terry said it was that night because Terry was there. And Lavonia said, "Oh wow, we missed you." Yeah, we was there for a while, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I had an event coming up that following week, so I had to go to Tiki Bar. Big shout out to Tiki Bar. Kicks and Cocktails, amazing event. You know what I mean? Emily performed there also. Cricket Moon performed there. We had like 8 different artists perform there. It was amazing. Nice. I did a live podcast.
Is that over in Galveston then?
Nah, it's over there, right next to Scout Bar. Same parking lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Same parking lot. I got another event coming up. Big shout out to Bully Certified Entertainment. My boy, the Black Bully. We're doing the Midwest Invasion. We got a bunch of artists coming from Illinois, small towns outside of Chicago. Teaming up with some artists out here. Emily will also be performing at that this month, the 25th and 26th. So everybody stay tuned. We are back at the Tiki Bar. Nice. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yes,
I wish you would be out here. I got a few events coming up. And you would have been a nice fit for that event, but you're not gonna be here. That would have been a nice fit.
We'll have to look for the winter and see what's dropping in.
Let's see. How does it feel stepping on stage in different countries, singing to thousands of people, and just knowing they're there for you, and just jamming out to your music?
It's uplifting. That's the paycheck really, because most of the time, you know, you're surviving from one paycheck to the next and living off tips a lot from one, you know, and the help and support of people. I mean, you asked at the beginning for shout outs. I could give you a list, you know, this long of all the people along the way that have been there and lifted me up and helped me through when I've needed it. But you know, the best moment is when the crowd embraces it, and when you're up there hearing your own lyrics sang back to you. You know, I don't know if I'll ever get used to that, but that's just cool, man. When people, I don't realize that, you know, when I put something out there that people remember it, and when you see them like word for word knowing the entire song, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's family, you know.
Awesome.
It's the realization that everybody's family as well.
It's definitely awesome. I usually play 2 songs per episode, but we're gonna play one of your songs. We did 2 covers.
Wow.
We'll play one of your songs after this question. Man, what advice would you give to the next generation of artists, you know, or just any entrepreneur in general? You
know, the biggest thing that I'd say to people is don't try and be something else. Continually, I have a song called Mr. Sincere, and it's kind of my nickname through the years, because I like to say things, you know, wear my heart on my sleeve and say things as I feel them. But I was continually, it mentions in that song, I was continually searching for pride and recognition. So I always used to shape myself to be what I thought people wanted me to be. And the best, you know, you hear so many people copying voices. When Miley Cyrus was out there, everyone's doing her voice. When Ed Sheeran got out there, everyone was doing his kind of sound. And then, you know, when the next piece of fashion hits, they say sound like this, be like this, but just find your own voice. You know, go right back to the bare roots of it and sing it like from your heart and sing it true. That you don't attempt to be anything other than you are, because what you are, whoever you are as an artist, is beautiful because it's unique, because it's you and it's something that nobody else has got. If you spend your time trying to be somebody else, you're only ever going to be a certain percentage of yourself. Be 100% you every time.
I mean, I like that, man. That's deep and that's real. That's man. Man, if there, you know, what do you, if there anything you want to say to your followers, to your fans, anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, to everybody that supported me and continues to. There's people all over the world, and the moments that I've had with every one of them special in different ways and means something, and is absolutely part of the photograph book of my life and the storybook that makes up everything that I've done. And without them being there and being in them moments, I wouldn't be me, and the journey wouldn't continue. So to all of them, my auntie was the first person that brought me to the States. She'd seen me when I was just off doing small clubs, singing with backing tracks myself to the old songs.
Yeah.
Like swing, and then, you know, that Sweet Caroline kind of stuff with backing tracks. She was like, "Hey, come over to America, and I'll introduce you to some people." And it was just that very fact of me stepping out of my comfort zone and throwing myself into a new world that inspired me to keep doing it. So to everybody, like, big love. Thank you, and please keep listening, keep watching, because it's not stopping. This is who I am, and I will continue to do it until I fall down and can't do it anymore.
There you go. There you go. You just mentioned your aunt was the first person to bring you out here. What was that like the first time coming to America?
It was crazy. I mean, I didn't mention it to you, but you'll see some of the stuff when you read through it. My auntie worked for Playboy. She was on the radio back in the day, and she hosted all the swim contests that used to happen back along the beach club there, and she was Mickey the intern. So her world was literally like living in the Kardashians. If you watch the Kardashians, and if you're not watching the Kardashians as in like thinking I'd like to live that life, but you're watching it thinking I know what's going on there, then I lived that, you know. And it was then that forced me out to finding the roots of things out here and the organicness of the real side of it, and not the, you know, not the game.
Yeah.
So she showed me and taught me a lot of lessons. Her world's amazing, and a lot of people would love to be in it, but I try and stay on the fringe a little bit. I like to be the guy outside the globe looking in, you know what I mean, like the snow globe.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get to one of your songs. This is actually one of his songs, everybody. Born Again. Let's get to it.
melody in written tones with violence. The tune and channel so change everything when every station sounds the same. I'm fading, jaded all along. I've been waiting my life to come along. You can't look up when you don't take a stand, switch up. In the here and the now you find everything you want. 'Cause it's not lost, 'cause it's not lost. A lengthy silence hides this rhapsody. No perfect score to mark the way. And the greatest anthems come from honesty. We write your soundtrack day by day. I'm fading, jaded all along. I've been waiting my life to come along. You get what you got, you don't take a stand, switch on. In the here and the now, you will find everything you want. 'Cause it's not lost, 'cause it's not lost. And I'm stronger now than I've ever been. Came back to let you know. Society has infected me. It's enabled me to grow. Found what I've been looking for, and it's easier because though the truth is sometimes hidden, I can see it's never lost. I'm jaded on my own. I've been waiting for my life to come along. And I'm fading. I'm jaded on my own. I've been waiting for my life to come along. You can't look out when you don't take a stand, switch on. In the here and the now, you'll find everything you want. 'Cause it's not lost. Think that's born again?
Born Again. That's a good song.
Born
How did
Again,
that song
yeah.
come about?
So yeah, I mean that's one of my earliest ones, and I think that the truth of that song's still just as relevant because I think you can be born again many times. There's many moments in your life when you have to just like fold away what's happened, you know, what you've been through, put it into the drawer and step out as a fresh new version of yourself. And I think the time when I wrote it was that, and there's been several other times after that when I've kind of referenced that and gone back to it. And yeah, especially again after us coming out of the lockdowns and everything, the freedoms of getting them back and claiming it again. Being on the road is born again to me. Being out there, finding a new place and embracing the new situations.
Yeah, I hear that. Man, on that note, we're gonna go ahead and end this interview, man. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said,
Thank you for having me.
Amazing artist. Man, keep doing what you're doing, man. For real, you're killing it.
And the positives, man, yourself as well. Though I feel that, you know, it's you know, for me, it's all completely about lifting each other up, working together, and you know, we're all in this doing what we do together. So it's thank you for reaching out to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
I hope we get to do something and catch up the next time that I'm back for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely you know, I'll hit you up whatever when we get off here. We'll figure something out. But definitely when you're back in town, we'll definitely link up for sure.
Working on some new recordings and my original stuff at the moment as well. So there'll be stuff dropping and bits and bobs coming out. I'm not completely sure how I'm releasing it yet. It's like the two covers that you played at the beginning were just literally recorded in the front room. I'm intending to keep doing that with my originals. And then when I hit a recording that I'm happy with, that I think reflects the song in the right way, I'm going to drop it somewhere online and work out a way of sharing it.
Awesome. Hell yeah. We'll definitely look forward to that. And saying that, man, we are done with this. Everybody that's watching, everybody's going to be watching in the future. We appreciate you guys. All my YouTube subscribers, all my people on YouTube right now that's watching, man, hit that like and subscribe button. There's a little bell down there somewhere. Hit that too. That's for the notifications. You know what I mean? So every time I go live or make a video, you can catch me. Everybody on Facebook, I appreciate y'all watching. Man, I appreciate you, brother. Man, I wish you success beyond your imagination, man, and keep traveling the world. You know, everybody that
Thank you, man. Cheers.
people that didn't hear earlier, I named so many different countries he's been to. It's crazy. But man, keep doing you, man. I appreciate you, brother.